Hey, I'm John Tabler. Welcome back. Today we're going to cut into some fresh bread. You know, a lot of times I make dough and get it ready to ferment, but then I don't bake it and let you see what it looks like. Right now, I have bread in the oven. Well, it was dough, a dough ball put into the Dutch oven, and it's been about 32 minutes right now. You know, give or take a little bit. You can bake it 30, you can bake it 35. It's very close to the same, but at 500. So now I'm going to take it out and we're going to see what it looks like. Now, these gloves are in the link in the description down below, or in links in the description down below. These are the best ones I've ever used. You don't have to worry about yourself getting burned. And cooling rack. You don't have to use any of this. I just know when I was using towels, it came through a little bit, so you don't want to burn yourself. We'll take that out, and I feel the top. It's crisp. And so again, if you don't want to score your bread at all, you don't have to use forks to lift it out, but that's what I do. Just like that. You can't tell. And I'm going to let that sit there, cool off. Then we're going to cut into it and see what we got. Oh boy, that is going to be good. So see you in a bit. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes, and now bread's still warm. But you can see the bottom is cooked just really perfectly, and the crust. So I'm going to put the cooling rack aside. Cooling rack's not greatly necessary. It just helps the bottom to cool off a little quicker. And now we're going to see what it looks like in the middle. I got the dish for some olive oil and butter and salt and goodies after I cut into it. Of course, that's going to be steaming still. And there you have it. Now, as I've said in other videos, when you use the flour with the bran, the germ, just 100% of the flour, because I grind mine from wheat, just grind it with the grinder. Great Wondermill. And again, those are in the links to those are in the description below. It's just what I use. There's many things that'll work perfectly. It's just once I find something I like, I don't really switch it up. I hold on to it unless something ends up being better. Look at that steam come off of there. And so when the bread is, when the wheat is the complete wheat, not sifted out, sifting out the bran or sifting out the germ, the heavier parts of the wheat kernel that contain so much of the nutrients, the majority of them really, when you use the whole thing, it's more dense. Obviously, just like a bran muffin is, but again, I'm eating for nutrition. It tastes better too. So there you have it. If you want a white puffy bread, or even if you want a way more nutritious bread made from whole wheat flour, you can sift out the heavy parts of it, the bran, with which has always been called bolting. You can sift out the heavier parts, and then it will, I'm getting butter all over my fingers. You sift out the heavier parts of the bran and it will rise more, be lighter, but it won't have as much nutrition. I'm a little unconventional. I cut my butter with a spoon. Yeah, it's different. But I'm going to put butter on there, and a lot of people ask me, why don't you use salt? Well, I salt to taste. Salt's not necessary in the original recipe for any like chemistry reasons or any cooking reasons. In fact, there's studies that show that, and it wasn't a huge amount, but when there was salt in the dough, it actually inhibited the rising of it. They used a lot of salt, like I said, but you can always put salt in before, you can put it in after. The butter has salt in it, so I don't really need it. But let me tell you something. Honey and butter, there's something about butter with honey It's like the land of milk and honey. Well, milk and honey, there's something about the synergistic effects of the two that make it so much better than individually. So you've got to try it one time. And I'm getting ready to do a video coming up on the honey that I'm using, which is cold packed honey, which is just another level above. And look for that video because there's not a lot of places to really get cold packed honey. A lot of them will say raw, but they're actually not raw. They heat the honeys. But you can put honey and butter on, or I'll just hold off on that. I've got willpower. Willpower. After you taste this, you'll need willpower like that. And then what I'm going to do is take my olive oil, just put some on the plate, and salt it lightly. Then take your bread, and here we go. That willpower, that lasted, you know what? That was a good 35 seconds, something like that. You dip that in the olive oil. I know it's fun watching me eat, but really make some of this bread as quickly as you can and try this. That olive oil bread with salt is just fantastic. And now for the butter. I mean, you will never want a donut again after you have something like this. And it's extremely nutritious. It's not like a donut fried in harmful oils, starting with a white strip of nutrient flour. This is whole wheat, 100% good for you, nourishing. Better than cake. So that is cutting into the bread. You get to see what it looks like. And again, there you have it. There comes the steam. And really, you know what I do is I take a lot of times I just use the same container that I mix the dough in. Take the knife and set by the side, put it over the top. And you set it on the knife, it leaves about that much room. And I've found that that preserves the bread, really keeps for about 5 days. It keeps indefinitely. The bread doesn't get old, it just gets hard. It dries out. So you can eat that for the whole week like that. Take your lid off, have at it. I've just noticed when I cover it completely, the moisture gets a little trapped too much inside. But this is how you do it. This is what it looks like. Cutting into the bread, scrumptious. Try it. I'll see you in the next video.